All right, this is Two Tooth for Jobber Jabber, and I'm such an idiot. I just recorded the whole Fastlane review, but I didn't have my damn mic in. So now I gotta do it all over again. So hopefully I do it better this time, and hopefully my mic's plugged in, because I'm an idiot. So here's what we got. Fastlane, March, I don't know, whatever it was, 11th, 2018. Not a bad pay-per-view overall. Everything went pretty much as scripted, if you want to say that, from what you would expect it to happen. No big surprises. There's a couple things, I wouldn't call them surprises, but some interesting things that happened. And let's get right into it. Started off with the King of Strong Style, man, Shinsuke Nakamura. He's hot right now. He's hot. They're pushing him. He's definitely going to WrestleMania. He's definitely facing AJ Styles, which we'll get into later. Hopefully I didn't spoil anything for you, but not much of a spoiler, I don't think. Shinsuke's there, and, well, it starts off with Aiden English coming out, doing his Rusev Day. I think I do that better than him, don't I? Yeah, I do. Aiden English, you're out of here, man. I'm Rusev's singer, or whatever he's called. Anyway, not a bad match, man. Rusev looks strong. I don't know what they plan on doing here with Rusev, because it's kind of silly what they're doing. They put him in there, and everybody in the arena, everybody watching, knew that Shinsuke was not going to lose this match unless there was some kind of interference, which didn't happen. Shinsuke ended up winning, but Rusev looked great, man. I mean, he put on a good show, and they need to do more with Rusev. They need to put him in place of Jinder in that U.S. title thing, because Jinder's just getting on my nerves. I can't stand that dude. So that brings us to that next match with Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, the Viper, man. I'm going to kind of skip through a lot of the promos, because a lot of the promos were dry. There was nothing, they just talked about the match that was coming up and what could happen. Great match, back and forth. I mean, these guys exchanged finishers. They tried to get their finishers on each other throughout the whole match, which put on, left you on the edge of your seat just waiting. But you always know when you watch Randy Orton, he's going to get about 3 attempts at that RKO, and he's going to get pushed off. He's not going to get it in there. It just always happens that way. But once he lands it, he looks great at it. Randy Orton's probably one of my favorite guys right now. I mean, he's a pretty sharp wrestler, man. I like what he's doing. So during this match, they show Jinder in the back with Singh standing behind him, which was kind of funny to me, because Singh's directly behind Jinder, and Jinder who's watching the screen, which leads you to believe that later on Jinder's going to come in and have something to say about this match. Surprise. But Singh's behind him watching the match, acting like he's seeing everything that's going on, but all he's looking at is Jinder's back. Kind of silly there. They need to get him back to some acting schools or something. He could have slid to the side or whatever, but that looked kind of silly. That's why I kind of want to stay away from the promos they had during this. What ends up happening after a great match was Bobby Roode went up to the top rope, and I'm not sure what he was going for. Maybe a blockbuster or just a forearm off the top, whatever he was going for. Randy Orton caught him, RKO out of nowhere. Looked amazing. I mean, you got to give Randy Orton credit on this, because go past the wrestling aspect of it and the show aspect of it, Randy has to be a great worker to put these RKOs on people in those situations and not get them hurt, or himself. I mean, he's got to position that head and hold it. I mean, hey, all of us here at Jobber Jabber, we know all this fun stuff about wrestling, but there's a talent and athleticism involved in this that we don't realize, and that's the little things you have to look at. Randy Orton is a very safe worker, and for him to pull that off, and Bobby Roode sold it like a champ. I mean, sold it like a champ. Rolls him over, pins him, RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton's a U.S. champion for the first time. Gives him that triple crown or whatever they call that, where he's had every title now. Kind of cool, but it still led us to believe that this feud wasn't over by no means. At the end, Jinder comes out, as expected, starts running his mouth, doing whatever. And in a little twist, Bobby Roode kind of saved Randy Orton from Jinder, which was like, that's kind of odd. Is it just because nobody likes Jinder? What the deal was? But then Bobby Roode changes his mind. He changes his mind, and he decides to give the glorious DDT to both of them. He knocks out Jinder, he knocks out Randy. So the guy that loses the title, loses the match, ends up walking out with his music playing with the WrestleMania sign in the background. So Bobby Roode is by no means out of WrestleMania with this U.S. title thing. It just seems like Randy Orton should have got the spotlight heading out of that match, and they gave it all to Bobby because of the ending of the match. So, whatever the case is, back to Jinder. Get him out of there. I'm so sick of Jinder. There's nothing there. Get him out. Put Rusev in that mix. I'd much rather see Rusev in a triple threat match with Randy Orton and Bobby Roode than this clown here that we're talking Jinder. So then we got the Becky Lynch, Naomi against Natalya and Carmella tag team match. Not a bad match. You know what stood out in this match more than anything is Naomi's flexibility. I mean, this woman, she does splits and lands in splits, and boy, Jimmy or Jey Uso was a lucky man to have that, because that is a flexible woman, and she's hot. Actually, all four of these women are pretty hot, except for Natty. Natty looks a little rough. She looks like a boy. Whatever. Tag team match. Becky Lynch, Naomi and Carmella end up winning over Naomi and Becky Lynch. Not sure where this leads up to. I don't think there's any WrestleMania implications to this. The only thing that crossed my mind watching this was Carmella still has that Money in the Bank briefcase. Would she do it tonight? I don't know. When is she going to use that? When is Carmella going to use that Money in the Bank? And when she does, is it going to be useful? Is Carmella that top notch that Money in the Bank is going to come in handy and take a title for her? Don't see it happening. I think they need to just get it out of her hands and do something about it and you know, move on. Then we had the Usos in the New Day match. Before the match, they had the Usos nice promo about how they started out as a I don't know what you want to call it, glamour boys with the makeup and the nice guy attitude and trying to be cool. And then you got the New Day doing their typical New Day stuff that's kind of getting old, you know. At one point they had mentioned that the Usos got there because of who their dad was, and they were handed what they got. The New Day had to work for everything that they had. Usos mentioned that they had been there, I don't know, 5-9 years, whatever it was. No WrestleMania title defenses or title shots or whatever the heck they were talking about. I don't know. But the transformation they showed of the Usos from when they started until now was a nice touch, because it gave them a little more oomph and a little more credibility as to their transformation to making them a power, someone to be reckoned with. They're no pushovers anymore. You know, you're at the penitentiary now, which is getting old. But if you look at the transformation they made from the beginning until now, it's nice. The New Day went with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston in this match, which made for a great high-flying match. A lot of athletic moves. All Big E would have did was, you know, some power moves here and there. Having the combination of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston in there made a great match. And they kind of went back to the whole theme of exchanging finishers, because they did the same thing that Bobby Roode and Randy Orton did. The Xavier Woods Kofi Kingston version of the Usos splash was amazing. I mean, it was picture perfect. They looked great. I loved it. Loved it. Great match. The bad part about it, there wasn't a winner. So the Usos still have the belt. But what happened is something that I've been waiting for, something they've needed to do for a long time. They brought out the Bludgeon Brothers. And they finally gave these Bludgeon Brothers a push and a destruction that they've needed to do on top tier tag teams. The only thing they did was they did it to two tag teams that had already been through a match and were hurting a little bit. But they've had the Bludgeon Brothers against a bunch of no-names. Sure, they're going to look tough. Anybody looks tough against the competition that the Bludgeon Brothers have been against. But they come out and destroy the Usos and the New Day, which, in my book, it was nice seeing the New Day get destroyed. The only thing about it was at the end, I don't know what that move is called, where they put the guy up on rolling shoulders and Harper pushes him down. They should call it the bludgeon bomb. That's what they should call it. But they did it on the steel steps. Xavier Woods sold it like a champ. I mean, he's twitching and it had to hurt. I mean, it was on the steel steps. Early reports from the show said that he had a spinal contusion, I believe. So we'll have to see if it was a work, if it was real. Probably not. If it's not real, did a great job selling it, which could lead up to maybe Xavier Woods being gone and the reason the New Day can't be in the match against the Usos at WrestleMania. But definitely they put the Bludgeon Brothers in the picture for WrestleMania and the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which is great. Great to see. They needed to do this a long time ago to break up this monotony of the New Day and the Usos. So yeah, the Bludgeon Brothers are in the mix now, man. I love it. Great tag team. They're monsters. Push them all the way to the moon. Let them start destroying some of these clowns that have been holding the SmackDown Tag Team division down. Then we had the Charlotte Flair Ruby Riott match. No surprise here. We kind of knew that Charlotte was going to win. Ruby Riott put on an okay match. You know, nothing really spectacular. They had the Riott Squad there causing a little commotion outside. Eventually, Charlotte puts Ruby Riott in the figure 8, immediately taps, it's over. Charlotte standing in the middle of the ring, victorious as usual at a pay-per-view, a title defense at a pay-per-view, that is. And guess what comes up? Asuka's music. Charlotte didn't go, woo! She went, oh. Charlotte's sitting there, and here comes Asuka. This couldn't have been a better choice. This sets up a fantastic match at WrestleMania. You're going to have Charlotte with her pay-per-view record on the line against Asuka's undefeated record, if it's still intact going to WrestleMania, and it has to be now. It has to be intact going into WrestleMania because that's going to set up a great scenario. Somebody's record or streak is going to come to end at WrestleMania. Asuka against Alexa Bliss wouldn't have had a whole lot of fun. What fun would that have been? I don't see nothing there. The choice of Charlotte was great. More than anything, this match with Ruby Riott was to set up this WrestleMania attraction. That's going to be a great, probably one of the main events, to see whose record stays intact and which one gets broken. Then we come up to the main event, the six-pack challenge, baby. Not much of a surprise. I'm going to spoil it right off the top, man. AJ wins. In an earlier video, I had talked about this would have been a good chance to give one of these other guys a push, maybe a Baron, maybe a Ziggler. Give him a little push to hold the belt for a couple weeks, a week or two, have AJ win it back. So you still have the Shinsuke Nakamura AJ title at WrestleMania. But don't you think if they would have put that title on Ziggler or Baron in between, or Zayn, in between now and WrestleMania, it would have put a little interest and uproar in the fans, the WWE Universe, as to, oh crap, we're not going to have AJ and Shinsuke now. Who wants to watch Shinsuke and Ziggler? It would have took a lot of pizzazz out of that match, but it would have drawn some attention to see what's going to happen. They want to know what's going to happen with AJ. But instead, they went with what everybody thought they were going to do. AJ ended up winning. A lot of good spots in this match. The Owens and Zayn thing came to fruition. We knew this was going to happen. At least I did. They're going to be fighting at WrestleMania now, as far as I can see. Shane McMahon was thrown in there a little bit, so maybe Shane gets put in there. But at one point in the match, everybody, pretty much throughout the whole match, there was never all six in the ring at the same time. Everybody was laid out at one point. The start of the match was Cena giving AAs to everybody until he gets to AJ. That kind of set up a little intensity. But at no point during this match were all six of them really in the ring going at it. It was pretty much one-on-one to set up storylines going into WrestleMania and further matches. Sami Zayn laid down in the middle of the ring. And he said, hey, I'm a man of my words. Laid down. And he was going to give Kevin Owens the pin. Everybody else is gone out of the ring. Perfect opportunity. But as you would expect, Owens stalled long enough just so it wouldn't happen, where he could have just laid over top of Sami Zayn and it would have been over. If that's what Sami Zayn's intentions were, we don't know. That's yet to be seen. But he attacked Sami Zayn because he thought Sami Zayn was bullshitting, and I don't know if he was. But what happened after that was great because it set up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens beating the crap out of each other. They're going to go at it again at WrestleMania. Maybe some Shane O'Mac in there. I don't know. In all this melee, Owens gets laid out. And as he goes to get up, out of nowhere, AJ had been laid out for a few minutes off the top rope. Phenomenal forearm. Pins Kevin Owens. Retains the title. And that's what we have. We still have the AJ Shinsuke Nakamura intact. Going into WrestleMania. It's what everybody wants to see. But I think they could have done a lot more. They could have gave it to Ziggler or somebody just for a couple weeks. Add a little twist to it. But whatever. Case is, all they did pretty much here was set up the Sami Zayn Owens feud. And maybe they got a Dolph Ziggler Baron Corbin thing going just because they were in the match. Not sure what they're going to do with all that. Well, that's yet to be seen. But I'm pretty sure all we're going to see is a Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles match at WrestleMania. Overall, not a bad pay-per-view, man. It was all right, except for no surprises, really. I didn't see any surprises. I was hoping for a little more twist. Like I said, my biggest thing was I think they should have gave that title to somebody else during that six-pack challenge. We had plenty of time for AJ to get that title back, and it would have gave Ziggler or Corbin another, a little push going in there, and maybe set up some other thing. Maybe they didn't want to get another guy tied into the AJ Shinsuke thing going into WrestleMania. That's a possibility. Anyway, coming out of this, Dolph Ziggler and Corbin, nothing came about with them. They put on a show, but nothing really came to fruition about where they're going to go for WrestleMania. And of course, at the end of the match, Cena's there, looking distraught. What's John Cena going to do for WrestleMania? He's used all his chances. How's John Cena going to be part of WrestleMania? Yet to be seen. I think I know what it's going to be, but that's going to come on our Raw review here in a little bit later on today. All right, I'm going to cut it off here. I got a lot of work to do. I got some catching up to do from my time off. Everything's back in normal here. My family matters are taken care of. My van is fixed. Farley's back from his work. We're going to get back to rolling. We're going to be back at you tomorrow with WFW live and in person. Katie, you're going to get your shoes. We're going to try and find you a thong. Mike, you're going to be in the match. Lee's going to be in the match. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to do some crazy crap, man. I'm telling you. Don't forget, we got a P.O. Box. 773 Bay City, Michigan, 48708. We like to open it up, see what you guys like to send us. This is Two Tooth with your Fastlane review from Jobber Jabber. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That helps us out more than anything. Get it out there. Subscribe. We got Skip Bentley coming up. We didn't see Skip this last weekend because of all the commotion that was going on, but I'm sure he did something crazy this weekend. I'm not sure what it is, but I can only imagine. Skip had to do something. He's just a crazy little bastard. So, like, share, subscribe. Two Tooths from Jobber Jabber. This has been the Fastlane review from March 11th, 2018. Tune in later for my Rubbing It Raw with Two Tooth. Or maybe we'll have Skip do the Rubbing It Raw. What you think? Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Missed you guys. Hopefully we won't have these little breaks anymore. I know it's been rough. But we're here, man. We're here. We're pumping them all hard. We're going to do what we can do. I said pumping it out hard. Woo! Two Tooth here, Jabber Jabber. Have a good night, guys. See you later. Peace.